Hey, hey, living environment fans, it's Wednesday. Let's do the Bellringer. Come on now, let's do this now.
All right.
Hey now.
Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
He's interested too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
Yesterday on the Dr. Phil show, we had some relationships. We talked about those relationships and how they were similar but also different from each other. Let's review those relationships. Thanks, Dr. Phil. Appreciate that. Yeah, yesterday we had relationship talk, and we talked about 3 different symbiotic relationships. All these relationships, as if you recall, they were symbiotic, which meant that one of the organisms used the other one's body as its habitat, as its place where it found food, water, and or shelter. That's the definition of symbiotic. They don't live just close together. That's about as close together as you can live, right? Symbiotic relationship, symbiotic. And if you remember, there were 3 different couples, and they each had a somewhat different relationship. Let's revisit those couples. Number 1 was the acacia tree and the thorn ant. And if you remember, acacia trees and thorn ants, they were both happy with the relationship. Thorn ants actually live inside the thorns under the bark of the acacia trees, and they like it there because they get fed with nectar, the sweet sugars from photosynthesis. The acacia trees like having them there because they'll run out and bite herbivores in the face, like giraffes and things like that. So it's like they're happy, happy, win-win. That's a symbiotic relationship we call mutualism. What's that called? It's called mutualism. What's it called? It's called mutualism. What's that called again? Right, mutualism. They're both happy. Our second couple was the cute as a button little pseudoscorpion and the longhorned beetle. And if you remember, pseudoscorpion was all about the beetle. Like, the beetle's the greatest. She lives right on the back of the beetle, right underneath the wing covers. Like, the beetle's awesome, he's strong, he's awesome, he's a great place, he's a great guy, blah, 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 blah. And all the beetle would say in return was, meh, whatever, mid, didn't care. We call that kind of relationship where, like, one is happy and the other one is not affected. It's called commensalism. It's called commensalism. What's that called again? It's called commensalism. What's that called again? That's right, it's called commensalism. Now, personally, I don't believe commensalism actually exists. I believe that if one organism is going to live in the body of another organism, it's going to have some kind of effect, either positive or negative. It might not be that much, but it's going to be some kind of effect. That's just me. For the regents, you need to know commensalism. And that brings us to couple number 3. If you remember, this is where we had the red snapper, the fish, not happy with the relationship. In fact, the opposite of happy, hurt, devastated by the relationship. Her life is worse because of the relationship. But the old tongue-eating sea louse, well, hey, she's the bomb, yo. You love this relationship, right? Happy, not meh, not sad, but like hurt, right? This is called parasitism. Parasitism. It's the most common kind of relationship you find in symbiosis, right? Remember, one lives in the body of the other one symbiotically. In this case, we call the one living in the body is called the parasite. Parasite. The one who has the body that's being lived in is called the host. The host. Parasite, host. This is an example of parasitism. It's called parasitism. What's it called again? Oh yeah, parasitism. Now you tell me, what is it called? That's right, it's called parasitism. Parasite and the host. And then yesterday I showed you all those fun human parasites that, I don't know, it's kind of a family show. I don't know if we should look at them again, but you join me next time for the Dr. Phil show here on KTV. Yee-hoo!